Hi, my name's Rob Hodgson from Access Mintsoft. We're here today at the Access Group headquarters. I've got the pleasure to be joined by Nigel Keaveney, founder and director of Evolve Fulfilment, based in Kettering. Nigel's kindly agreed to come and join us today to talk about his journey so far in setting up Evolve Fulfilment and where we've got to so far in that journey.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Cool. Hi, Rob.
Nice to have you in. Thank you for coming to see us. Hope you found us okay.
Yeah, well, thanks for the invite. It's very happy to be here, and what an amazing site it is as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
It's
We're
a
very
stunning
proud of
place.
it.
So yeah, very happy to be here.
Good, great stuff. So starting a 3PL. I mean, it's obviously a big step. I mean, I've been in the industry myself 18 years and visited hundreds of sites over the years, and we work within Mintsoft with sites that are hundreds of thousands of square feet. But what we thought was so great about your story is actually the first inquiry we had from yourself was very, very embryonic. We were just still thinking about names, we were thinking about space. It was very early on. So tell us a little bit about how the idea formed and where it started.
So the idea originally came to me sort of probably just during COVID, really. I've always kind of wanted to have my own business. It's always been playing in the back of my mind, want to take that step forward and run my own business. And then sort of during COVID, started seeing and noticing just the trend on online sales was just increasing. And then kind of from there, I just noticed that, you go into a high street, most of the shops seem to be closing. You see that e-commerce sales are going up. So I just started doing a bit of investigating. I was always following other sort of fulfillment companies online, and it just kind of, the idea, the seed just went into my mind, and then it started growing from there, really. In the UK, I think e-commerce is worth around about 80 billion a year. I think that's increasing around about 10% year on year, and around about a third of that, about 25 billion of that, is outsourced to 3PLs. So it just seems like a fantastic growing market. Something that I've wanted to test the water in and have a go at, and I've been in the industry since I was 18, so I've got all of the contacts, I've got quite a lot of contacts, a lot of people who supported me on my journey. So from there, and wanting to surround myself with sort of like-minded people and take people on a nice growth journey with myself. That's where the idea came from. So decided to take the leap. It was quite a nerve-wracking decision. It's easy to sit there and draw up a business plan, but then when it actually comes down to the crunk of it and actually making that leap and setting yourself up, it's very rewarding and very terrifying at the same time.
I can imagine, and I think the beauty of the story with yourself is, as I say, with the inquiry through was so early in your journey with ourselves, and I think what we were very mindful of in the beginning is, you are not ready yet to be a Mintsoft client, but it was understanding what tools you may have at your disposal and kind of what you might ultimately use to start fulfilling orders from a software side of things, wasn't it?
Exactly. So a big part of my business plan was doing market research, and you go out there and go on other people's websites, and everybody talks about this market leading software that everybody's using, which it's basically Mintsoft, so everybody knows about it, and it is a fantastic bit of kit. And I wanted to make sure I got all my eggs in a row. So WMS or software is a really big piece, right?
Of course.
You can go out there and try and do everything on an Excel spreadsheet, but nobody wants that. It doesn't look very professional. Then we've got premises, which was a big part that you need to look out for, and then funding. But I wanted to make sure I got everything lined up, and also rates with carriers. If you can't get some decent rates, then you don't really have a business anyway. I just wanted to get everything lined up. And speaking with you guys here, it's been fantastic support. You haven't really pushed for getting me on board, and I think I've been speaking for quite a few months. I think it was probably a good 6, 7, 8 months before I finally signed on the dotted line. With lots of help from Miles, sort of talking me through it, and I think I kept phoning him up, and randomly a question would pop into my brain that I wasn't sure about, and he would quite happily jump on a call for me and talk me through it. So the support's just been fantastic.
Well, no, we really appreciate that feedback, Nigel, and we're glad we could help you get to this point. So in terms of the ability for a piece of software like Mintsoft to help you attract new business, I mean, is that I've heard before people say, well, it's chicken or egg. I'm not going to buy something until I've won a contract, or I can't win the contract because I haven't got the tools. So what was your take on that in terms of that chicken or egg situation?
Obviously there's a cost to everything, and cash flow, and cash is king, and cash flow is very tight for a new startup business. So I didn't really want to sign up until I got that first customer. But I kind of challenge you guys. I've worked with Access Delta before, and I've used I've used Mintsoft for doing the final sort of the carrier integration piece.
Yes.
So I knew the functionality. I knew that I'd be able to get on with it pretty well. So I just threw the challenge to you guys is, I've got my first customer, you've got 2 weeks to sign me up and get me on board. To which you did, basically, which is fantastic. Good. And I was a bit nervous because my first customer who came on wanted to be on board in 2 weeks as well. So I was they wanted to be on board ready for what was their peak. So it was very nerve-wracking, very challenging, but I had a relative amount of time because they were my first customer. I worked with your onboarding team. Here we are, and
good.
It's a fantastic system, and really user-friendly, really simple to use, and my clients are loving it as much as I am, which is great.
Well, that's brilliant, and I think that that for us is a lovely thing to hear. So thank you for that feedback. I think so. thinking about your actual journey, so aside from software, and in terms of those first three things, I would say. So when you suddenly went, do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to steer away from the safety of a regular monthly paycheck on PAYE, and I'm going to take the plunge and I'm going to set up my own business. What were the first three things that you sort of needed to do in your own mind to go, right, this is what I need, and this is the first three things I do in setting up my own 3PL?
So the main thing is funding. You don't have a business without the cash, so it was kind of, where do I get my funding from? And to get funding, if you go private investment, then you need to have a good business plan. So the first thing was, how do I get the funding? Where do I look for funding? So put together a good business plan, went and showed it to a few people to help me raise the finance. The more people I spoke to, the more sort of support and ideas I got. So funding was the first thing. I know we talked about the software, but the software was a big piece of it for me. And then premises as well. If you don't have a premises, you don't have anywhere to send it out from. And then also, the fourth thing is you need some way to market your product. You need a website. You need the logo. You need somewhere to attract your customers, whether it be warm or cold leads. So I'd say they were the four main things. But starting in order, it was funding. Need the money first. Premises, where am I going to do it from? Website, how am I going to get people on board? And then making sure that the WMS was there so that we can manage all the stock and get the customers on board.
Fantastic. Makes perfect sense. So with regards to you look at the market, and there are a range of players out there doing fulfilment and e-commerce. Some very big, some very small, some specialise in certain things. Did you have a particular idea in mind of these are the kinds of customers I want to attract, or any particular niche that you wanted to go in, or was it a case of let's see what happens in terms of getting things kicked off?
Every plan you have, they don't always go according to plan, really. The best laid plans and all that. But so the original idea, and still, which is kind of our sort of ethos, is we want to take on new companies, people who potentially they're still in the garage, they're doing 300-400 orders a month. They got to the point where they want to make that move, get in their own warehouse and own stuff. It's a really big step, and doing it yourself and all the costs and outlay. So the idea was we want to attract those kind of customers. Throughout my years of working in e-commerce, I've really prided myself on customer retention and making sure that the end customer gets the very best experience. From that, from monitoring FIFO scores and sort of making sure that delivery instructions or delivery messaging online is always up to date, and making sure that they get the best deal, really. So I want to be able to use that knowledge and to help people evolve and grow. So again, the ethos for the company and the name of the company is Evolve, because we want to evolve and grow with small startup companies. I've got the experience there. For big companies, why not use that? And I kind of want companies to almost see me as an extension to their own company. When I sort of go out to customers and put together proposals, part of what I do is I go onto their website and have a look at what the current delivery message is, and just also do a bit of comp shop and order some of their products from them.
Okay.
Just so that I can just say that this is the experience.
Blind shopping experience.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yep.
Used to do comp shops in my previous roles. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's kind of understanding the whole experience, and just wanting to evolve and grow with the smaller companies. A lot of the big players out there, I think they geared up to slightly bigger customers or customers with that perfect sized product, which is sort of under 3 kilos. And
yes.
So we're happy to help with all different types of products.
Yep.
Really, don't want to do anything too big because it takes up a lot of warehouse space. But
Sure.
we're not going to limit customers based on product size, etc. So we've got all the carriers in place that can take all of the nice easy traffic, or the big bulky ugly stuff. So we kind of want to be able to support as much as possible and just evolve and grow and go on a journey with new people, new clients, or new partners, as we call them.
Fantastic, sounds exciting. And I think, so in terms of people that have helped you along the way on this journey, because you mentioned there are certain 3PLs who have got a very clear idea of what they do and don't want, which obviously I'm sure is an enviable place for lots of people to be able to do that. But have you formed any relationships with those sorts of businesses that, in terms of people who might not be a good fit for one, could potentially be a good fit for yourself, or anything like that in terms of that support?
100%. So quite luckily, I've got a friend who's he's a business development director for quite a large company. So he's kind of given me a lot of pointers and sort of given me ideas of how I can get those warm leads on board.
Fantastic.
And he's just given me some good advice. And then part of my early journey on LinkedIn, I sort of reached out to a few smaller companies like myself to sort of, why not? I'll chance it and just asking them simple questions like, where'd you get your leads from?
It's an obvious question.
I'm an operations guy, so operations is my bread and butter, but the marketing side of things, that's all new. I'm learning as I go, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But I've had a couple of leads that have come my way which are just too big for me, and I've kind of built a relationship with another 3PL company that have been established since 2017. So I just said, look, this guy's too big for me. Would you be interested? So passed them over. They won that contract, and so they've now said, if we get anything that's not fit for us, we'll pass it your way. So, and it's amazing how many people you speak to, just how supportive, and people could just turn around and say, why is he asking me questions? He's my competitor.
Sure.
And it's not just in the industry, but just talking to like-minded business people or successful people. It's amazing how much support there is out there, which I'd probably be lost without, to be honest. One of the things I've probably learnt the most is don't be afraid to ask questions. There's always someone out there that knows more than you, and there's always someone out there that's willing to help.
Fantastic, and I think there's a lovely lesson to be learnt in that. I think certainly the amount of organisations we work with, there are open sort of communication in terms of share with everybody what you're doing, and I think sometimes there used to be a fear around don't tell anybody what you're doing because somebody might copy, whereas actually if you keep that closed mindset, actually the growth path can be much more difficult than it is having that open mindset. So no, that's great to hear, and that you've had so much support from people who ultimately I suppose are strangers until those initial contacts can happen, aren't they? So in terms of how things are going numbers wise, so how many clients have you managed to attract, and how many clients do you now support with and evolve their own businesses?
We're now in November, so this is our 4th month, and so we've got 3 clients on board now.
Fantastic.
2 of them are using Mintsoft. The third one is they have a different sales channel, which is the QVC shopping channel.
Okay.
Looking at how I can onboard them to utilise the Mintsoft. So 3 at the moment. I've got 3 other leads that I'm working with at the moment that they've kind of already partnered, but they're looking to change. So if I can win those over, they were on a 3-month notice period. So the goal was always a lot of these things, your business plan and goals, it's a bit of a pluck it from the air. And I think the goal was always to get 2 new clients a month, except for November, December, because it's Q4 and peak. So we're not too far off that, but super excited about January coming. I think that's when we'll probably see a lot more leads start coming through. People are either disgruntled with their existing partner over Q4, or people whose sales for their small little e-commerce business has started picking up. So and people get that new buzz of life in January, don't they? I'm going to go to the gym, set up my own business. So I'm hoping to get back to the target of 2 new clients a month, starting in sort of January, February time.
Fantastic. And in terms of the feedback that you've had from your customers so far, customers that you've brought on board, so coming a little bit back into the software now, how's their experience been? Because obviously they are the lifeblood of what you do, and one of the things that we try to do is provide a communication tool to your customers as well as a tool to manage inventory for yourself, and that's a big part of what Mintsoft is. It's an integrator between yourselves, your customers, and the channels and the end customer. So how have their experiences been with Mintsoft?
So super positive, to be honest. So the first one, it was a bit nerve-wracking for myself because they use Shopify, which is one of your standard integrations. So they want that experience on Shopify. I wasn't that experienced on the Mintsoft integration side at the time. So we sat there together, and I kind of worked through it together. On Mintsoft, you have like the help guys and the onboarding team. So I printed off a list from the instructions from Mintsoft, and basically just talked them through it. And I think it was maybe 10 minutes, and then everything was done. I popped back onto Mintsoft and just clicked the Git locations, and then all of a sudden, boom! All of their stock was showing on Mintsoft, and that was a wicked moment for me because it was it's real now. I've got some stock, and then talk them through sort of loading the ASNs, the based on their POs, so and it built blocks into your calendar. So went through that. It's super simple for them. You can use the ASN for booking in stock, checking it, and then also for being able to bill your customer. So they've used that, and then just show them some of the basic reporting, and and I think they love the dashboard as well. It's super easy. So they've got I've got my main contact, but then they've got 2 members in the customer service team, and they've kind of all got access, and quite happily plugging away with it.
Good.
And then the second one, to be fair, again, that was one of the premium integrations, which was with NetSuite. So they don't really need to use it too much. Theirs is for the Amazon FBA side of things. But they, again, super easy. They put the ASNs in there. The POs come straight down from NetSuite. So they know that it's there if they want the reporting. But I think it's also nice for them to know that they don't really need to worry. It's a great tool there if they want it. And it's also great that if they're not touching it, it means we're doing something right. So far it's been very positive, and potential clients coming on board, I show them little snippets of it as well, and just sort of part of the sell to them is that that they get this lovely bit of software. They can look at it on their mobile phone. They can look at it on their tablets. They can look at it wherever they want, and there's not a lot of hard work involved for them. It just frees up themselves and their time to focus on growing their brand and getting the orders and sending them my way.
Fantastic, and that really is, it's great to hear from our perspective, because that's kind of the hope we have. We are ultimately a software provider. We are a software support team. So listening to those real world examples of how it actually makes an impact, and our, even our the Access Group motto is freedom to do more. Which is the idea being is obviously the software should be doing the grunt work, the easy work, the leg work, to give you the freedom and your customers the freedom to actually do what they can do by adding value rather than repetitive administrative tasks. Even calculating billing on a weekly basis and how many pallets you've got in or how many picks you've done. Hopefully we take some of that legwork away. That's our hope. In terms of the actual billing side of things, how onerous is a task at the end of the week, at the end of the month, to actually get those invoices out?
It's so easy. This is one of my concerns when I kind of set it all up, was, again, I've not really done much more than the operational side of things. I've controlled budgets, etc., but sort of the financial side of things, it's a learning curve for myself. But you set your client up, you put in the charges that you put in your rate card to them, and then, like you say, you can either do it weekly or monthly. Currently we're doing weekly invoices. Once you've got everything set up, which is literally a 5-10 minute job, you just go on, click on invoices, create invoice, put your date range, and it's just there like that. It's super simple. So for me, it's I pick that up and drag and drop it into an Excel Excel, put it into the invoice, create a PDF, send it to the customer, and away you go, really.
Fantastic.
So it's incredibly easy to use. Good.
Well, very, very glad to hear it. So, in terms of the longer term plan for Evolve, so is there a 3, 5, 10 year plan? Where would you like to be this time next year, even?
My 10-year goal is 10 years to 10 million.
Okay.
So
like it.
You've got to have your goals. You've got to have your ambitions. The goal is 10 years to 10 million. So I'm sure it's going to be a challenge to get there, and I'm sure. I've already had no end of challenges and setbacks already, and so I'm sure we'll get there. I'm just looking forward to all of the different challenges along the way and embracing them, and surround myself with a good team. And I'm super excited about it. To be honest, it's an exciting but yet nerve-wracking journey. But super looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Well, anything we can do to help you get to that 10 million, we would love to help support it. Well, thanks very much for coming in, Nigel. That's been really, really positive from our side, and thank you so much for your feedback. And we look forward to catching up with you again in about 6 months' time.
Fantastic.
And just seeing exactly how far along that journey you've got. And if you need our support, you know where we are.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.